Welcome to Unbranded Christianity. Today we are starting and kicking off a brand new series called God and Money. What does God say about our finances? And how does that influence our day-to-day life? Because it should. I'm so glad you're here, and let's jump in. This is our first episode on our new series of God and Money. And we're going to start with the foundational truth that I feel like should be what we build everything else upon when we come to the topic of money. And that is this: God provides. God provides is what I consider to be the most foundational truth when it comes to money, when it comes to resources, when it comes to what we acquire in this life. And the most important Bible verse, in my opinion, or the most important passage, in my opinion, is in the second half of Matthew 6. Jesus talks about not storing our treasures on earth where thieves and rust and moths can destroy, but rather storing them in heaven. He goes on to say that where our treasure is, our heart is. And then he caps that with this statement of, look at the birds of the air, look at the lilies of the field, and see how they don't toil, yet they are sustained. How much more important are you, a child of God, than a bird of the air and a flower in the field? And he says, God takes care of the needs of his children. This is a paraphrase. This is not a direct quote. You can go read it for yourself. But I believe, 100%, I believe this is the most foundational truth when it comes to how we treat our money. God and money. What this means for us whenever God provides is that we don't have to be bound by what society or the world says that we have to, which is the love of money, which is the never-ending pursuit of acquiring more. Rather, we can go through life living from a place of peace that a loving God takes care of his children. And we get to walk out knowing that our day-to-day is going to be taken care of. I truly believe that God provides for all of his children. Whether that is the veteran who is on disability, whether that is the homeless individual that has to hold a sign on the street corner, or kids who are discarded in other parts of the world. I truly believe that God loves and provides for their needs. And leaning into that should begin to form and be the foundation of how we approach our finances and our money. And extremities aside, the extreme sides, we're focusing on the main road for a majority of us is that we have some, we don't have a lot, and we're caught in that place of always wanting more. And that's energized by society, the keeping up with the Joneses. Also, side note, who are the Joneses and why did they get that slogan? They must have really tried to one-up people. But when we go and we do life, it's easy to get stuck in this thought process of how do I acquire the next thing that ultimately will be destroyed by moth and rust? How do I get that next nice car? How do I get the bigger house, the fancier house, the fancy clothes, the fancy shoes, the new smartphone? As we go about life, we are just going from monetary addiction to monetary addiction. And it's this game of consuming. And what happens is we fall into this habit, this cycle of gathering and consuming. And anytime we have surplus, we spend that surplus on ourselves, or what we have isn't enough. So then we have to hype ourselves up in this bigger, better mindset. We have to work on ourselves so that we acquire more and reach our dreams, rather than accepting that we have a Father in heaven who provides, a God that is loving, that provides. That though things might get hard sometimes, there's food in our belly and a house over our head, a roof over our head. God provides. That simple. And this is the singular, most important foundational truth to how you approach God and money. God provides. That's it. That's the starting point, is that God provides, and that we lean into that. And that whenever things get hard, we lean into that, what Jesus said, that your day-to-day is taken care of. So, in light of all of that, that's the foundation. So then the question becomes, Matthew, well, you already alluded to homeless people or discarded children, or those who are in dire need of help. And that will be where we pick up in our second episode, which will revolve around how humans have a part in God's provision. So this is episode 1. This is the first step in God and money. We sum up in 2 words, that God provides, and that becomes and should be our foundational truth of how we approach everything when it comes to money. I hope you stay along for the ride. It's going to unfold, and we're going to go after lots of areas of how money is attached to our heart. And I'm excited to go on this journey. This is Unbranded Christianity, and I will see you next week.